investment, Maya. You're just the glue that holds the furniture together until your brothers take the house. My father didn't even look up from his scotch when I laid the internal audit on his desk. I had just discovered that Austin and Tyler were drawing $240,000 a year with performance bonuses and full equity. I was capped at $60,000 with zero benefits because he'd classified me as a consultant to save on his tax bracket. Don't get emotional, he sneered, checking his Rolex. I'm protecting the legacy. Your brothers are the face of this firm. You're just the ink in the pen. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I felt a cold, sharp click in the back of my brain. I realized right then that he wasn't my father anymore. He was just a CEO with a massive blind spot. And I knew exactly how to bankrupt a blind man using the very consulting loophole he used to keep me small. I picked up my bag. If I'm just the ink, Dad, I said quietly, then consider the pen dry. He laughed, thinking I was throwing a tantrum. He had no idea I was about to use his own greed to erase his name from the industry. People always ask me why I stayed for 5 years while Austin and Tyler were drawing 4 times my salary for half the effort. Maya, you're a logistical genius, they'd say. Why are you letting them treat you like the help? It's a fair question. But to understand the answer, you have to understand the ghost lead. In the high-stakes world of global supply chain management, there are the faces, my brothers. They wear the $3,000 Italian wool suits, show up at noon with a double espresso, and take clients to 5-course dinners at per se. They shake hands, make impossible promises, and take the applause, and then there was me. I was the one on the encrypted line at 4 a.m., negotiating with a port director in Singapore because Austin forgot to file the maritime insurance. I was the one manually rerouting 600 containers during a hurricane because Tyler had switched the GPS tracking to a cheaper, unreliable provider to pad his quarterly bonus. I knew every vendor's secret, every customs loophole, and every shipping route. I was the engine. My father thought he was saving money by keeping me off the books. He didn't realize that when you build the engine, you also know exactly which wire to pull to shut the whole thing down. The next morning, I didn't go to the office. I walked into the glass-walled conference room of a top-tier intellectual property firm in Lower Manhattan. I was meeting Elena, a shark who billed $950 an hour. I slid a single piece of paper across the mahogany table, the independent contractor agreement my father had forced me to sign 3 years ago to avoid paying my health insurance. Read Clause 9, I said. Elena adjusted her glasses, read it once, then started laughing. Sarah, did he download this from a free template site? He said legal fees were a waste of overhead, I replied. Elena tapped the paper. He didn't just save money on fees, he saved himself into a corner. You aren't a W-2 employee. You are a 1099 contractor. And in this cheap, generic contract, there is no work-for-hire clause. He forgot to make you assign your rights to the firm. I felt a shiver of pure, cold adrenaline. So who owns the logistics software and the proprietary vendor database I built? I asked. You do, she said. Mitchell & Company is just renting your brain, and they haven't paid their rent. The end didn't come with a bang. It came with a $40 million shipping delay that Austin couldn't explain. 2 days after I walked out, our biggest client, a Japanese tech giant, was waiting for a customs clearance code that only lived in my encrypted drive. At 3 p.m., the client called, threatening to terminate the contract. I sat in a quiet cafe, watching my phone light up. My father didn't call to apologize, he called to bark orders. Maya, stop this tantrum. Austin can't find the manifest. Send it now. I don't work for you, Richard, I said, my voice dropping to that dangerous, quiet register. I'm an independent contractor whose contract you terminated. Anything I built belongs to me. The silence on the other end was deafening. By 5 p.m., Tyler had accidentally deleted the vendor database trying to bypass my security. The faces of the company were suddenly staring at a blank screen. They didn't have the passwords, the routing logic, or the relationships. The empire wasn't crumbling because of a strike, it was collapsing because the engine had been removed, and the legacy was just a hollow shell with a $3,000 suit that I stood at the back of the Metropolitan Club, watching my father try to hold the room together. The annual logistics gala was supposed to be his victory lap, the night he handed the legacy to my brothers. He was wearing a tuxedo that cost more than my first 2 years of salary, clutching a glass of aged scotch and flanked by Austin and Tyler, who were laughing too loudly at jokes that weren't funny. They looked relaxed. They thought I was at home, defeated by the weight of their family name. They forgot that while they were busy networking, I was the one who actually owned the network that I didn't enter through the service door this time. I wasn't wearing producer black or carrying a clipboard. Tonight, I was wearing crimson, a structured, architectural gown that felt like a declaration of war. I walked through the main doors with a guest pass issued by the very client my father was trying to impress. I saw the moment he spotted me. His smile faltered. He took a step toward me, his face darkening with that familiar, controlling anger. He thought he could intercept me. He thought he could put me back in my box. He was wrong, the fallout was brutal. The cease and desist triggered an internal audit that exposed 5 years of tax evasion and employee misclassification. The fines were catastrophic, but the reputational damage was terminal. By Monday morning, the Japanese tech conglomerate moved their entire $40 million logistics portfolio to Justice Valley Productions. Others followed. My father's firm, Mitchell & Company, collapsed within 6 months. He still tells the industry that I stole his legacy, but you can't steal something that was never built on a solid foundation. That I didn't take his company. I reclaimed the intellectual property he refused to value. He thought that the Contractor label was a way to keep me cheap and disposable. He forgot that a chain, when swung with enough momentum, becomes a weapon. I am no longer the ink in the pen or the glue holding a broken house together. I am the owner of the narrative. My brothers still have their bespoke suits, but they no longer have a stage to wear them on. As for me, I'm busy building a new empire, one where the engine is finally given its due.